Hey guys, welcome back to the Wind Down with Toya T, where we do a recap and review of HBO's Insecure. This week we are doing season 4, episode 9, Lowkey Trying. So before we start, of course, we got to take a sip. I hope you have your favorite drink with you. I personally, I'm back to the wine. I have a red wine that is actually by a Black-owned winery. It is called Horseshoes and Hand Grenade. It's a beautiful red wine. I just had to take a sip. So good, full-bodied. Definitely check it out if you're interested in supporting more Black-owned wines. And so, let's get started. So, here's the funny thing, right? I'm gonna tell y'all. I completely missed the first 9 minutes of the episode. I actually had to rewatch the whole episode this morning. I had notes for the remainder of the episode, but I had to watch the beginning for the first 9 minutes. So I had tweeted after the show, I want to see Molly go to see her therapist, and I hope Condola, or as I called her because of autocorrect, Consolation. I hope Consolation's not pregnant. And funny thing is, 2 of those things appeared right in the episode in the part that I missed. It was so funny to rewatch it from the actual beginning and getting the full context of the video. So, this is how the episode started. We see Issa and Lawrence, and they are so cute. And there's a whole montage of fucking and cuteness. Just love it. I just wanted to be in it. I was like, woo, why didn't I see this last night? When it gave me great dreams. My goodness, they make me want to date again. Just so cute, their banter. I realized we've never seen them happy. Like the series started off with them being in a bad place, and then Issa cheated on him, and then she tried to hide it, and then he broke up with her, and then it was the whole aftermath of the breakup and the cheating and stuff like that. So we never got to see them happy, and I just love this season that we got to see them get to know each other again and realize how much they have in common, how much they still care about each other, how much they still work, and how that one mistake that Issa made and the other issues in their relationship really preventing them from being together because they're so good together. Oh my gosh. It was just, I know this is the honeymoon phase, but like, if you use them as a comparison to Molly and Andrew, during their honeymoon phase, there's way less tension, way less mishaps than Molly and Andrew had. Like theirs was always like fucking, but then, you know, she does something or she's tense or she doesn't want to say something or she says something, he gets mad and then she apologizes. Oh my gosh, I hate to compare relationships, but as I said before, Molly don't deserve Andrew and they are not the representation of love that I want, okay? But anyway, it's just so cute, and I just love all the details that they showed of how much time they spent together. I love the montage showed that they had been spending several days together. Like Issa's wearing his shirt, then they're sharing food, they're sharing drinks, they're working together, they're having sex with her headscarf on, which is a sign of intimacy. Like actually saying, wait up, bruh, this hair right here, I ain't trying to sweat it out. I'm about to put my phone. Especially if we do it on the couch and you ain't got no silk or satin pillowcases on here. Gonna have to wrap that up. So I just love all of that we saw. Eventually end up talking about Nathan. Issa gets a text message from Nathan. He's moving and he asked her if she was gonna help him. And she takes the opportunity to tell Lawrence about Nathan because she wants to be completely honest. She doesn't want the same thing that happened with them the last time with Daniel to happen again. So she tells him, I used to date him. We're just friends now. And he asked me if I can come help him move. And I just wanted to bring it up to you because I don't want it to be weird. And if you're uncomfortable with it, like, I won't do it. I just want to be honest. And that was just so great. And he's like, nah, it's cool. And I think he really is cool with it because she brought it up and she was being honest. And I think he's seeing that she is very much about them being transparent and being communicative. He also mentions, after Issa asks him, like, do you have any dangling strings, meaning Condola? He's like, are you trying to ask me if I've talked to Condola? Yes, sir. We trying to ask you if you talked to Condola, because she was blowing up your phone last episode like she was pregnant, but apparently she not pregnant. I hope she not pregnant. I'm saying she's not pregnant, because I think this would be a time for him to tell her, yeah, she's pregnant, but she's not pregnant. She's not pregnant. Condola's not pregnant. See, farewell, Condola. We can be friends, but you can't be friends with Issa, because we ain't trying to get you to mess this up, okay? We don't want you to mess this up. Go away, Condola. Don't mess this up for us. So he said, yeah, it's finally over her. He talked to her, so that's great, right? Then we move on to the second part that I didn't know had happened until I watch the full episode. Molly is talking to her therapist. Dr. Rhonda is back. Dr. Rhonda, okay, with her Afrocentric office, okay, and her short, cute cut with her blondish hair, like honey golden blonde. Go ahead, Miss Rhonda, and her grown, sophisticated doctor woman rap. You know what I'm talking about. She was there. Molly told her everything that's been happening. Molly's talking to Dr. Rhonda about her anxiety surrounding her relationship, which, again, as I pointed out, the ease of Issa and Lawrence's relationship is in like stark contradiction to the tenseness of Andrew and Molly's relationship. As she already pointed out, she's got so much anxiety around her relationships, especially since this is the longest relationship she's ever been in. And she felt that it was wrong for Issa to pile on more anxiety by pointing out, like, are you sure you want to invite him to Thanksgiving? You know how you are with men. You like to run off and you're always looking for something to fight about, which is all true. But she felt that Issa was the one that's adding on top of it, although I feel like Issa was just pointing out her own insecurities, because she just said she was anxious about it. She's never been in a relationship this long, and she didn't realize that it was going to be this hard. Like, Molly, you thought that relationships were easy? That probably explains why she had such a visceral reaction to finding out that her father had at one time, long time ago, had cheated on her mother, and she couldn't let go of it, but her mother had been let go of it, had several kids with him, having, anniversaries and kissy faces still with him, and she just couldn't let it go. That was so representative of it, and that she just thinks that things are supposed to be easy. Dr. Rhonda points out that she can see the stress, like how all this is stressing her out, the issues with Issa and Andrew's brother. She said, what's his name again? And Molly was like, does it matter? So disrespectful. Again, this is why I know that their relationship is not going to work. Andrew, she don't respect you. She don't respect your brother. She don't respect your job. She don't respect your friendship. She doesn't respect nothing. Break up with her. Break up with her. Molly says that she feels tense all the time and like she's dreading something is happening. And Dr. Runner asked her if she feels that Issa is the root of this. And Molly right away says Issa crossed the line. She should have never talked to Andrew behind her back. And Dr. Rhonda asked her, well, do you think that you could have done anything differently in this situation? And Molly sits there for a second and thinks, and I'm thinking that maybe some of the wisdom from Dr. Rhonda would have sunk in. And girlfriend said, no, she needs to apologize to me. I said, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Molly girl. Oh my gosh, Molly girl. How much money are you paying this woman an hour for you to come out just wrong and strong in your ignorance? You are wrong. How do you not see that calling her out at the block party in front of everybody was wrong? And that it didn't match up to what you felt that she did wrong to you? Like, come on again. I'd understand if she had made a pass at Andrew right in front of you. Yeah, you call her out right there. But she didn't do that. She didn't do anything that cost Andrew anything or that he saw as being an inconvenience to him. And she is just so stuck on being mad. She's stuck on being mad. She's stuck on stupid. And Dr. Rhonda ends this by asking Molly, does your relationship with Issa still serve you? Here goes that phrase again. They've been using it all season about things that don't serve me. They started off the season with them at Self-Care Sundays and talking about like, well, that doesn't serve me and this doesn't serve me and does that serve you? And here it is coming back with the therapist actually saying it, like, does this relationship serve you? And do you want to do the work to save this relationship? And that is the key. Do you want to do the work? Does Molly want to do the work? And I think from this episode, we have fully seen that she does not, in her actions and in her words. So, moving on to Issa. We see Issa working. She's in her apartment. And she is conflicted about being in a relationship with Lawrence again and what to do about her friendship with Nathan. So she calls Kelly. Kelly has a whole white voice message, which is hilarious. And then she has the second part that's in Spanish, even funnier. But she didn't pick up, so then she looks through her phone and she decides to call her brother. Surprise, surprise. Her brother is at some kind of wings place where he's eating some really hot food. And the conversation completely is not helpful. He doesn't give her any kind of advice. She's like, should I, still hang out with Nathan, even though I feel like it could be a conflict with my new relationship with Lawrence? And he's like, yeah, that sounds right. And it's like, but he did say that he didn't care, so maybe I'm tripping. He's like, hey, you tripping? I was like, oh my gosh, he's the worst. It's like, girl, why'd you call your brother? That was like a waste of your time. So after that, she calls Molly. And she calls up Molly, right? And starts saying like, hey girl, I really want to talk to you. Can we meet up? Because I have stuff going on with work and I got back with Lawrence and you're the only person that I want to talk to. And Molly goes off and curses her out and calls her selfish, a user, and like completely self-centered and all this stuff. Turns out it was a daydream, but it was pretty much everything that she had said to her at the block party. So you can see that Issa is still replaying Molly calling her a user and selfish. And I think that is something that she's using to guide her actions when it comes to Molly and to other people, making sure that she is not this user, this selfish person that her best friend told her that she is. But even though that was a daydream and didn't go so well, she still calls her. She leaves a message and asks if they could meet up. There goes Issa making the first step as usual. I don't know why she continuously has to do so. But I think it points out again that Issa is willing to do the work to save their relationship. And Molly is not, because she's not willing to take the first step, to admit fault, and then get to a common ground with her to make up. Molly gets the message when she's leaving her therapist's office. And she seems like she feels vindicated because she just had that conversation with her therapist about, are you willing to do the work? Do you think you could have done things differently when it comes to Issa? And she said no, that Issa needs to apologize first. And then Issa calls her. So I feel like Molly's like, yep, I won. Told you, she got to come to me, got to come groveling, got to come apologizing because she's in the wrong. So they meet up and Issa's at the diner. It's the same diner that they sat at in the first episode of this season. Issa is nervous. She is so nervous. She's like completely just like so awkward with the waitress. And then Molly shows up. She doesn't know how to greet her. She doesn't know how to hug her. Should she say, hey girl? Like, it's just so awkward between them. And then they end up just not talking about any of their issues. Like, Issa is really leading the conversation by asking all these questions. How's work? How's your nephew? How was your vacation? She's the one leading this conversation. And Molly is just sitting there like, She's just waiting. You can tell she's just waiting for the apology, for the Molly, I'm sorry. That's what she's waiting for to open up. But it seems like the drinks and the food kind of softened her up. Issa shared the whole story about Kyla Pratt and her friends dining and dashing on her, which I think is funny. And they have like a good kiki about it. And at the end, Issa offers to pay. Molly is super surprised, like, oh, okay. And then Issa points out, like, I feel like I owe you probably many meals. Molly seems to be impressed. Issa also ends it by saying that she loves her. She's like, I love you, girl. And Molly's like, yeah, I love you too. I was like, you fake ass bitch. You don't mean that. So Molly goes back to Andrew's place, right? And he asked her, how did the brunch go? And she said, oh, it went okay. Like, we didn't really talk about anything. I feel like it was very superficial. And Andrew asked her, well, did you bring it up? You could have brought it up. And she said, no, she should have brought it up. It didn't seem like she wanted to talk about it. So I didn't say nothing. And I love that Andrew points out to her, like, maybe you needed to meet her halfway because I know you miss her. If you care about this relationship, you will swallow your pride and you will take the first step. If you feel like the conversation is not going in the way that you wanted or you want to talk about this, bring it up. Say, hey, girl, so can we talk about what happened at the block party? in those lulls, because there was plenty of opportunities for her to bring it up when Issa was just asking question after question after question just to get the conversation started. And Molly is just so over. She's like, nah, like, I don't want to do that. I'm over it. It's like, oh gosh, girl. And Andrew also brings up that his brother's in town and invited both of them to a Clippers game as a peace offering. And Molly's like, nah, I don't want to go. I don't really feel like it. So she suggests that he go with his brother as a boys' night. And she just kind of deads the conversation right there. And you can just see in Andrew's face that it was important to him to have her come because his brother invited both of them. And like his brother, as he was saying about Molly meeting Issa halfway, I think he was seeing it as like, my brother knows he did wrong. I spoke to him after the whole incident happened in Mexico. And now he is in town and actually trying to create a new relationship with you by taking you to a Clippers game. But Molly ain't willing to meet him halfway, which is very interesting because Dr. Rhonda did point out to her during the therapy session that Molly seems that when someone angers her, she just puts up a wall and then she's just done with them and is waiting for them to climb over that wall. Like she doesn't lower it for them to try to make amends. She just builds the wall up and expects them to find a way to get over it. And she makes it very hard for people to want to do that because she doesn't give them the opportunity. So we move on next with Issa. She is with her intern, Sequoia. They're just leaving a cycling studio, and it turns out that they're working on creating a Black wellness pop-up. And Issa's feeling like, well, we still don't have a name. We don't have a location or any of the stuff. And Sequoia points out to her, they have had great progress. Like they have 2 juiceries and now this cycling studio to agree. So they're well on their way to having a great event. And you don't have to worry about the details of like a location and a name yet when you have the major things that you need to put on an event. I love that. And I also love that Sequoia put me on to how to keep your food warm in your purse. She had some waffles in her purse and they were warm because she used hand warmers to keep them warm. I said, oh, let me put that in my Rolodex. So when the school year starts for me and I want to keep my breakfast warm, I can just put my breakfast in my purse and keep it warm. Even if I don't finish it, I can keep it warm. So after that, Issa calls Lawrence and he's in San Francisco. Turns out he was there for another interview. He says it went very well. Again, I love their banter. It's really cute. They start joking about rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat. I don't know if they still have that commercial. And she mentions to him that she met up with Molly and she thinks it went really well and she missed her. And Lawrence was like, well, maybe you just needed space for y'all to get over this issue, which I think is very much what happened with him and Issa, that they needed space and time for them to get over their issue in their relationship to come back together. So I like how that worked out. Issa goes to Nathan's place to help him unpack stuff. She is really nervous. She doesn't know how she's going to act around him because she hasn't seen him since she got back with Lawrence. And so it is very awkward. Obviously, Nathan is trying to get back with Issa. He tries to give her a hug. She's like, hey, what's up? She gives him a pound. And then goes straight into like, where can I help you? And he tells her to start with one box and he comes over to try to help with that box. And she walks away to another box because he was getting too close for comfort for her. And yeah, Nathan was putting on the full-on flirt, man. He was getting me. He was getting me. Okay, I usually love my man chocolate, like really chocolate, but Nathan was getting me with the silky voice. He's like, yeah, maybe we could work out something. I said, ooh, maybe I could work it off. Ooh, okay, Nathan. So before he can get too close, because he was putting on like the full on, let's forget these boxes and let's get it on kind of eyes and movements. She tells him straight up, like, I don't know if this is weird to say, but I got back with my ex. And he immediately says, what, the one that you cheated on? Come on, Nathan. Come on. He was really trying to play Lawrence. He's like, yo, I don't want, good luck with that. I hope it works out because he seems sometimey. And I was like, oh, don't say that, because what if that was like them trying to tell us that Lawrence is not fully in it, but he looks like he's in it? don't do that, Nathan. But it led into Issa hitting back at him and saying, well, at least he doesn't disappear. And Nathan reveals to her that he actually is bipolar, that he didn't just disappear when he left the last one. At first, he thought he was just depressed, but he found out that he has bipolar disorder. And I really like this conversation because it was a real conversation about mental illness and about being comfortable about disclosing and, you know, creating healthy spaces for yourself. Like he mentioned that it wasn't easy. It was hard. He had to deal with a lot of his issues. He had to reevaluate who's in his life, who does he think he wants in his circles. And he mentioned that Issa's one of the people that he wants in his circles and that he appreciates her. And I was like, that is so cute. And she said, I appreciate you too. But I think that whole issue with him trying to flirt with her, he's not going to do anything to jeopardize his friendship with Issa. So that was nice to see. After that, we go over to Andrew's place. Molly comes over. She has takeout, and she's talking to Andrew, and she asked him about how the game went, and he said, you know, it went really well. We had great seats. I was sitting next to one of the Migos. I don't know which one, even though I work in the music industry. I couldn't tell you which one it was, which was funny. Because I couldn't tell who the Migos were until Cardi B married Offset, and I was like, who? And then I was like, okay, now I know which one is which. Great. But then he points out that it was unfortunate because his brother had invited the both of them and not just him, and it would have been nice if Molly came. And Molly was like, why would you expect me to do something that makes me uncomfortable? I said, oh my gosh, girl. So Andrew can compromise, but she can't. He can constantly say, like, you know, I'm on your side, but I feel like you need to do this. I feel like it'd be good if you do that. And you just completely overlook him when he says, like, are you planning never to see my brother? Like, if we are planning to stay together, my brother is going to be around. He's my brother. I just don't think that Molly was thinking about that. She keeps talking about how relationships are hard, but then she's not actually doing the work. It's hard because she refuses to bend. How can you say, why would you want me to do something that makes me uncomfortable? Yes, being around his brother would be uncomfortable, but his brother came up with a solution that would be comfortable for all of them. It wasn't like it was an intimate 3-person dinner. It's him extending that olive branch, and she just didn't even want to take it. She just could not seem to meet him, not even halfway, not even a quarter way. Like, she couldn't even take one step forward. And I think that's going to be a huge problem. But before it even turns into an argument, Issa and Nathan show up. They're there to pick up the rest of the boxes. Andrew's like, well, you know, you guys should stay for dinner. We have like tons of food. And for a minute there, I thought it was a setup, but the guys didn't seem to have put this together to get Molly and Issa to start talking again. Issa tries to get out of it and says, like, no, we already ate, we don't need food. But eventually her stomach gets the best of her. She said, no, I'm hungry, be hungry, I just want to stay. So Molly's saying begrudgingly, oh yeah, we have tons of food so you can stay. And it seems cool, like they're eating, they're drinking. Molly and Issa end up reminiscing about Issa's old stinky apartment and the games and the meetups that they used to have there. And they mentioned one game that Issa had created called Celebrity Heights. And Nathan is like super excited to play this game. And so is Issa, but then she sees Molly's face and she, again, trying not to be a user and selfish. She's like, oh, no, we don't have to play it. But then Molly, feeling the room, was like, no, we should allow Nathan and Andrew a chance to play this game. So they play one round. It's all good. And they start to run out of wine. Andrew goes to get some more wine. And as he goes away, Molly picks up her phone and texts, see, I'm trying. Except she sent it to Issa. Issa gets it, sees what she's talking about her, sends her back, I don't think you meant to send this text to me, and immediately gets up, takes her stuff, and walks out. And Molly chases after her, and they finally have that conversation, but not really. She's like, you know what? Obviously, you don't want me to be here. It's uncomfortable. I'm not going to stay someplace where I'm not wanted. And Molly points out they really didn't even talk about anything. And so Issa's like, well, let's talk right now about it. The block party. And Molly's like, it's much bigger than the block party, but she never mentions what the issues are. And Issa points out to her, like, yo, I'm trying. I reached out to you. I'm really trying to make this work. And Molly says what we all knew she was going to say. She said, maybe where you are and where I am are just in two different places. And pretty much just pointing out that like they've outgrown each other, that there really isn't a reason to work on their relationship because they're in two different places. And Issa takes that, I can feel it. It felt like a bullet to the heart. I've had that kind of conversations with friends before, and sometimes we come back together and reconcile, and other times that's the end of that friendship with that person, and it hurts. It hurts on both sides. It hurts completely. And luckily the lift shows up. Issa gets in her lift. She's like, there's nothing else we have to say after you said that. So she gets in the lift. I feel like she's gonna cry. If it was me, I would have been crying in the lift. I would have been full on trying to hold it in, but burning in the back of my throat, tears welling up, just, silently falling down my face, crying. And Molly's just like, oh, that's what it is. She just stands there, turns around and walks away. She seems real cool with it, and Issa seems devastated, and that's the end of the episode. And so this is the penultimate episode. What is going to happen in the finale? I don't know. Obviously, like I said, Issa and Molly's relationship, kaput. I think we might see Kelly and Tiffany reacting to Molly and Issa not being friends. If we don't, that's a missed opportunity to have the other friends in the group say something. I think, especially since Kelly was so invested in them being friends again. With Issa and Lawrence, I hope things work out. Please, let's end happy in love. Please, please, please. I think he is probably going to end up moving to San Francisco. It seems like it'd be a good move for him career-wise, but it's, again, LA to San Francisco is not that far in terms of driving or flying. It's really not. So they can make it work if they're invested in it. And again, nothing is really keeping Issa in LA. So I feel like if they end up staying together and he does move, as of Molly and Andrew, I hope they break up. I hope he breaks up with her. I hope he says to her, like, I can't do this anymore. It's over. I hope Molly goes back to therapy and finally has a breakthrough with Dr. Rhonda, spends some time alone and works on herself. I know it's hard. Trust me. I know it's hard, but you need to do it, girl, because I don't see how else we can go from there. We do know there's a season 5, so there will be a continuation of these stories. I'm not sure where we're going to end off. And I hope we end off at least in a good place for Issa, because she seems, girlfriend is glowing. She looks good. She seems happy with Lauren. She seems to be doing well with this whole event planning thing in the neighborhood for the people, by the people. And it's just great to see her and Molly not being friends. Well, we know that Issa's open, but Molly's not. If Molly does the work and gets back to her, cool. If not, peace. Deuces. See you later. She's going to have to deal with losing her best friend and losing her boyfriend because she's not doing well at working on these relationships at all. So I think I'm done with that. It's going to take me a last sip. Let me know what you think about this episode. What do you think is going to happen for the season finale? Where do you hope things will go for season 5? And I will talk to you guys next week. All right, bye.